This is Brian Byers. Have you ever wondered what it's like to work at a job that makes everyone dislike you? We go inside what it's like to be a parking enforcement officer in this edition of 9 to 5 It.
Shelley, you've been doing this for a long time. What are you actually called? I know you're not a meter maid. That would have been a term we would have gotten rid of a long time ago. Parking attendant? What is the actual title?
Parking enforcement.
Parking enforcement. So you're a parking enforcement officer. And you're actually under the auspice of the Decatur Police Department.
Correct.
So you have a sergeant at the DPD that is over the parking.
I have a lieutenant.
You're lieutenant. Okay. How many of you are there? I mean, how many actual people are driving around doing parking enforcement?
2.
There's only 2 of you full time. What's the difference today doing your job with all of this technology versus what you had to do 6 or 7 years ago?
You're in the car a lot more.
Yeah.
And I don't like that because I started when you walked.
Yep.
Actually, when I first started, I didn't have a car at all.
You just walked.
I walked.
And you had a ticket book.
Yes. I had my machine and a chalk stick, and we no longer chalk. We don't chalk via tires or.
And you would do that to know whether the wheels had moved, right?
Whether they had moved.
Yep.
Yep.
And then, how many tickets a day do you write?
We don't write near as many tickets as we used to write. Probably like anywhere from 12 to 20.
12 to 20 a day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That would be less than I would have guessed. How many times do you put a boot on? A week?
We have done 5 in a day.
5 in a day. How many people, I mean, this seems like a lot of people have a boot coming their way. Is that right?
We have over 1,600.
1,600 cars?
On the boot list.
On the boot list.
Yes.
So that means the next time you catch them, they're getting the boot.
Yes.
Now, do you carry the boot around with you?
Yes.
Okay. How hard is it to put on?
It's not very hard. They weigh probably 30 pounds.
Okay, so it's pretty small then, but it prevents the car from being able to be moved anywhere.
When we first started booting vehicles, there were people that actually owed $2,000.
A couple $1,000. Wow.
Yeah, in parking tickets. You hear all kinds of excuses why.
Okay, well, tell me about
they
some
shouldn't.
of those. Why shouldn't someone get a ticket?
I mean, I've heard, one time I rode a lady in a handicap.
Uh-huh.
I literally saw her get out and run into the post office.
Sure.
It was the first space she pulled in it. I get out, I look all through the vehicle, I don't see the placard, I write the ticket. She appeals it. She says, this is a good story, she said her son, which there was no child in the car,
right,
threw his shoe out in the middle of Franklin, and she just pulled in the first space and had to run out and get his shoe.
Ticket. You watched her go into the post office?
I watched her go in the post office.
Okay, now did she realize you have like cameras and all of that?
I don't know, but I was like, I'll give her credit, that was a good story.
So from 8 to 4, you drive 4 miles an hour around downtown Decatur all day long beeping?
Yes.
Okay.
And it is, I mean, I came from when I walked. I like to be outside. That was...
All right, so if you could walk again, but you had to wear the hat and the skirt, would that be a deal breaker for you?
No, I'd probably rather walk, even if I had to wear
the hat
and the skirt. Yeah.
Do those hats still exist somewhere? I'd love to see one.
No,
a
probably.
chin strap, like you're in a marching band.
Yeah.
And then of all of the, you have to listen to this beep all day long.
Yes.
Oh, isn't there a mute?
There is, but the problem with that is then if it would flag a boot or something and you weren't paying attention to the screen, you might not see it.
Okay, do you ever want to like speed up? You feel like you drive very, very slow.
I am driving slow.
That's okay.
Now we have to take a photo of every ticket on every vehicle. So when that person says, I didn't get the ticket, they can pull up the picture. Yes, you did.
Okay, do people ever swap tickets out?
We have had that happen.
Gaming the system, right? So if I'm this guy and I want to stay out here more than 2 hours, I take this ticket, put it on my car, and do you think you've already written that ticket?
No.
You don't fall for it?
No.
Man, they don't play, man.
So the machine keeps anybody from having any biases, or I mean, you can't like go out and just target people that you don't like or that you know will be at a certain place at a certain time every day.
No.
Okay.
And people still think that. They still think, oh, she targets me. But this computer...
Why do people do that, though? They never actually go, well, maybe I just should start moving my car. Why is it always your fault?
Because they're not at fault.
Okay.
That's not their fault.
So have you ever been fearful?
We have had problems. We've had issues when we booted cars that we've had to call the police, and they have got arrested. And they've been not physically
But
violent.
making threats or
But making
acting
threats
threatening.
or trying to push you.
Push you over a parking ticket. Well,
We're
a
all
boot, I
getting
guess.
booted. I've had people try to run me over.
Try to run you over.
We just had one that I booted, and I was in the process of putting the boot on, and I was explaining to them that, you know, it's already been called into the police department. It's basically a done deal. And they got in the car, and I didn't think anything, because people get in the car and they start calling and
Right.
figuring out how they're going to get the money and
Or get out of it or whatever, yeah.
yeah.
And so
they got in the car and started driving.
while you were putting the boot on?
Yes.
Oh my God. So did they get charged?
Yes.
With what was the crime? I mean,
They actually had several things because they drove off with the boot on the vehicle.
nice.
Pull that out. Put it on the window. Take a picture. And there you go. And that was an $80 ticket.
Yes. Scofflaws.
So that's not going to make that person happy today.